Greetings, younglings, Padawans, and Jedi Knights. It is I, the Grand Master Jeddalo, here to give you another lesson in the ways of the Force. And no, this is not 31 Days of Halloween. That has already passed. But this was something I wanted to do because I wanted to play Toulon's journals for everyone. This is the most up-to-date version. There's a couple other versions on YouTube, but I don't think the most up-to-date version is on YouTube, so I figured I would play that for everybody. And if you're not a Puppet Master fan, maybe this will help get you into it a little bit. And if you are a Puppet Master fan, well, maybe you know of it, maybe you don't, or something. Or if you're just familiar with the movies and want to dive in a little bit more into the lore, or not know much about the lore but know about the movies, this could be a good video for you to watch. So with all that being said, let's get into this, shall we? Yes, let's.
November 1902. I never thought I would keep a journal, but I need something to collect my thoughts after everything that has happened tonight. Let me be brief. My name is Andre Toulon. I am a theater owner, a puppeteer, and now everything I thought I knew about this world has forever changed. I met a man tonight. I thought him a beggar at first. He was accosted by two men outside the theater, and I brought him inside for treatment. He told me he was an ancient sorcerer named Afzel, and of course I did not believe him. But then he showed me things, impossible things. He made puppets walk. And he told me he could train me in this magic, to make them truly live, to instill human souls in wooden bodies. I am no wizard, not even a magician. I have never sought to be anything more than an entertainer, but I cannot deny my own eyes. I do not know what may happen from here, and I can only imagine what a strange and exciting journey it would be. And somehow, wrapped up in the middle of it, there's me. Nothing more than a struggling showman and simple puppet master. August 1912. Europe is on the cusp of war. You can almost smell it in the air. My living puppets and I have waged a war of our own, nearly lost. It has been a decade since we left France, since we together destroyed the servants of the demon Sutek, and I met my darling Elsa. I made the terrible mistake of thinking I had found peace after that, but Sutek returned to take his revenge on us, and this time we barely escaped with our lives. This time he came not with the mummies of his ancient disciples, but demons of his own making. His own living puppets in a way. These avatars of evil, these totems, proved nearly too much for my puppets to take. We won, but only barely. I carry the head of my poor fallen Cyclops in remembrance. I know that Sutek is still out there, and I hope he no longer deems me a threat to his ancient magic. Should these totems ever return, it will take something much stronger to defeat them. 14 June 1939. Hans Seiderman, my dearest and sweetest friend, has fallen, killed by the Nazis for refusing to censor his jokes. I had sworn to myself that I would never do this again. Losing my first puppets, even so many years ago, has left a hole in my heart and made a failure out of me. I I closed myself off after that, sometimes even to Elsa. Hans was the first true friend I made in Berlin. A jokester who would light up a room with his presence. Even after the new formula given to me in recent years by the strange sorcerer I met in Cairo, I promised myself I would never make another living puppet. But Hans wanted this, or the procedure would not have worked. He wanted to keep fighting, and so he shall, as the Jester. It is a fitting role for him to play. I told him about the magic, the secret of life years ago. I had always thought he never believed me, but he did. Perhaps he wanted this adventure. Perhaps there are great days for him ahead, transformed into something magical and devious. A trickster, a cunning imp who the Nazis will never see coming, and even if they do, they will never believe their eyes. 6 December 1939. It is Hanukkah. I know it is not wise to keep a lit candle in the window in the midst of this terrible regime, but I do not care. They will not take this from me. I have lost yet another friend, and I must have the comfort of this small fire and the hope it represents. Hermann Strauss was one of the kindest men I have ever known. It was his kindness that got him killed. He was a truck driver, smuggling food to Jewish families. He simply hated to see people go hungry. No matter the cost to himself, he would always help those in need, especially those who needed it most. This time, the cost was too great, and he was shot. Herman was a gentle giant. A big man with a soft heart. But he knew the value of strength, and even in the kindest of men, there is a rage that must be tempered. I must unleash that rage now, to allow Herman to take his revenge as my newest puppet, Pinhead. That strength shall be his weapon, that raw, brute force that only comes from pain. Where other puppets may be designed to sneak and be stealthy, Pinhead shall be my wrecking ball. He shall be my hammer to bludgeon his killers and all those who commit the injustices he died trying to prevent. Third of May, 1940. Joseph Sabenstein was a reserved, shy man. He stayed out of arguments and only said something when he had something to say. He spoke pointedly. I came to know Joseph through the much more outgoing Hans, a bookkeeper. Joseph, like Hans, became very dear to me. It horrified me to hear what happened to him. Enslaved into the Nazi salt mines and worked until he dropped dead of starvation. He will no longer carve tunnels for them. He will bore tunnels inside them. All of them. A deadly reminder of the terrible things they have done. As tunneler, my shy friend has become very direct indeed. I could not save him from his cruel fate, but I can offer him the chance to avenge his own death, to mine the very bodies of his murderers. July 1940. I never believed I would be friends with an American, let alone a Texan cowboy with a thick accent and obnoxious cackle. I have no particular problem with the Americans, but have always thought them to be loud braggarts. Truth be told, my friend is no exception. He is a man who loves to be the loudest one in the room, yet he is strangely private. It took me weeks to learn his name, which is Samson Pratt, though he insists on only being referred to as Shooter. I do not understand Texans. And yet, he is a man with pain, with demons. He has told me about the things he has done, both great and horrible, as a double agent during this cruel war. He could not continue playing both sides and in the end delivered Nazi secrets to the Allies. The Nazis killed him for it. But I have seen his heart. I know the good he is capable of doing. And I know the satisfaction he will find in shooting down the men who killed him and all of their ilk. I am sure he will be laughing that unmistakable laugh of his as he does it. 31 March 1941. They have murdered my Elsa. Those foul Nazis at Major Kraus. They have extinguished the light of my life. They do not know the depth to which they will pay for what they have done. I gave her this puppet as a gift, a token of my love for her. It's everlasting. It shall be so again, inhabited by her very soul, so she may carry out her own vengeance. They did not kill her right away. Before the second shot came, she burned slowly. It's only fitting she should do the same to them. Leeches, they suck a life's blood away. This is the best I could do for her now, but she will have her revenge. It will not be a quick death, as may be carried out by the other puppets. It will be slow, it will be gruesome, and it will be ghastly. They deserve nothing less. 6 April 1941. I have lost yet another friend. Dare I say a kindred spirit I never expected to find so late in life. And in doing so, I have created my ultimate weapon, a swift knife in the dark bearing the very face of death itself. Blade. Dr. Hess was there the night Elsa died, but he was not one of them. Those Nazis. He was a brave man, a kind man, forced to work for the monster Kraus, and treated like dirt under his shoe. I carved this puppet before I even knew him. I molded it in Kraus's image, and truth be told, I think I carved it for myself, that it would be me to kill Kraus in a mockery of his own reflection, the last thing he would see as he died. I have killed a Nazi general this week after all. This was not a revenge plot I ever expected to survive. But then Haas was stabbed, saving my life. He made me vow to keep fighting, and I shall. Tonight, we will finally have our revenge on Major Kraus. The soul staring at him before this new puppet shall be that of the man he tormented most. It is only fitting. Before he died, Hess told me, some other time we could have worked together and done great things. My friend, we may yet still. 7 April 1941. With the death of Kraus, the murder of my beloved Elsa has been avenged. For the moment, the secret of my magic and my puppets is safe. I must escape Germany before the Gestapo finds me, and the formula falls into the wrong hands. Von Kirsting, the printer, he will forge me a passport. Peter, the boy who wants nothing more in the world than to be my assistant, will travel with me to Switzerland. He believed we are on some kind of adventure. That naivete endangered him. It got his father killed. He knows better now, but he still believes that we will travel together to America. I cannot do that to him. I cannot put this life upon another child. I know all too well how that feels. And I know, as do my friends, that being close to my heart only leads to death. My friends knew what they signed up for. They wanted that chance to keep fighting, to right the wrongs that led to their own demise. But it is monstrous to imagine that for a child. Peter told me he has family in Switzerland. Once I tell them what has happened, as much as I can, they will understand. So will he too one day, though I suspect he will hate me for a long time. He loves me, and he will feel betrayed, but at least he will be alive. Third of May, 1941. I have boarded another train. This cabin is made up entirely of Nazi officers and scientists. In my attempt to flee, I have been led directly into the den of wolves. But that is not the worst part. I am still traveling under the identity of Major Kraus. It was nothing to simply show the name on the passport, but now I am here, among his people. I have to break bread with them, to speak with them, to joke with them, and every second try to stop the bile rising in my throat. I have to play the role of a man who murdered my wife, and she, from inside her trunk, must watch me do it, as must Blade, molded in Kraus's own image, but inhabited by the soul of a man he tormented and condemned to death. They must watch me speak the name of their murderer as if it were my own, and with a proud smile on my lips. I don't know how long I can keep this ghastly charade up, but for all of our sakes I must. There is something else at work here, something I hear of only in whispers. I have heard these Nazis in their hushed tones speaking the name Anubis, the Egyptian god of death. I have had enough experiences with the Egyptian deities for one lifetime. I encountered an Egyptian god a very long time ago. In doing so, I angered that god, Set, also known as Sutek. At the moment this life of mine began in earnest, I will keep my head down then. I am not looking to begin the cycle anew at my old age. September 1941. I have found a desolate cabin amidst the Carpathian Mountains. The night is still and quiet. I have a small fire burning for warmth, and I have been sitting here staring absently into the flames. Something has happened that I cannot speak aloud to my puppets, my most precious friends who follow me even in death. My son is dead. Elsa and I told no one of our Erich after he ran away. We were private people. We went to the authorities, but a missing Jewish boy in Nazi Berlin was deemed of no importance. I do not blame him for running. It is no place for a boy to be cooped in a theater while his parents entertain everyone else's children. I thought he was dead until I saw him staring me down, a flamethrower in his hand and a red band on his arm. There had always been fire in him, a rage that burned brightly, but also a passion that could have become beautiful. With his blonde hair and blue eyes, he must have passed for Aryan, and instead of death, he was indoctrinated into their ranks. They sent him, a boy, to kill me. He hesitated, and the blade slit his throat. The puppet was only protecting me. He didn't know. It doesn't matter, because my son is dead, and that bright flame inside him has been extinguished forever. October 1941. We have arrived at the Bodega Bay Inn. It is a large, bustling hotel on the California coast. I have heard that it was built as a haven for mystics, so hopefully there will be some discretion. I know it will not be long now before they find me. Time is running out, and there is nothing I can do about that. I have made peace with this. I know what I must do when they arrive, because I know what it would mean if this secret were to fall into the wrong hands. I will do anything to prevent that happening. But I still know that one day it might. That the Nazis may gain control of my puppets, or Sudek will return to enact his terrible revenge. And so, I have begun my final project. Decapitron. He may not be finished before the end comes, but he will be my last resort should those unspeakable things come to pass. As such, he will require more to operate than my other puppets. The serum may not be enough. It may require an electrical charge. This weapon will be built for me alone. The soul inside shall be my own. This was always my fate, for now I may die as any man. But should Decapitron ever be needed, I shall stand beside my puppets. I would never ask my friends to do something I would not be willing to do myself. I pray he is never needed, but I know in my heart that the day will come when Decapitron must live. 12th October 1941. They have found me. It is funny, in a way, with the life I have lived. The fallen friends surrounding me. It is a miracle that I ever lived to be an old man. The odds are 1,000,000 to 1, and yet I still believed I had more time. I suppose we all do when the end comes. 2 Nazi spies have just entered the lobby, and they will be here within minutes. So I must make this quick. This will, of course, be my last entry into this diary. But the very nature of its existence, this will be my suicide note. But I have been living on borrowed time nearly all my life. Had I been at the theater that day in 1902, I would have died with my friends. Perhaps I should have. But in not doing so, I have found so much more. This magic cursed me, but it also gave me beautiful things as well. I met the love of my life. I met friends who I loved and still love dearly. Friends willing to stand by my side after their own deaths. Blade, Pinhead, Tanala, Jester, Six-Shooter, and Leech Woman, my beloved Elsa. I wish I could know what it is to become one of them. I wish I could say with certainty which way they will go. I trust them entirely, but I do not trust the next person who may discover them. That is why I do what I must do now. My puppets could, under the will of the wrong master, become boogeymen lurking under the beds of children. They could become monsters. Or they could become heroes. They have been. I've seen it with my own eyes. I have lost so much in this life. But when I close my eyes, I see them brightly as ever. My friends, my Erich, my Elsa. Oh, my Elsa, I love you so much. No matter where we were or what became of us. In all my long life, there was never anyone for me but you. Goodbye, my darling. If any of you do see this diary, perhaps my dutiful Blade or ever-curious Jester, just know that what I do now, I do for you. Always for you. I am with you, my puppets. February 1991. Erich, my Erich shall walk again. I feel wrong. My puppets, they brought me back. But these are not my hands. This is not my body. This rotting husk. I am not me. They killed my boy. The intruders in this house. No. The Nazis? No. Who killed my son? The fire that burned inside him shall burn again. He will be my cleansing flame. Erich. Not Erich. Torch! Oh, Elsa, I had lost her, but I have found her again. We will be reunited, and then, yes, then things will be right. We will be a family. I feel very strange. Elsa, Erich. I know that name, don't I? I think I knew an Erich once.
So, my younglings and Padawans, this was Toulon's Journals. It's quite a heartbreaking tale of what happened to Andre Toulon and his friends and family. But I just wanted to share this with all of you, so hopefully you walked away, if you were interested in watching this, hopefully you walked away knowing a little bit more about these little guys than you did before. And you already knew some of this stuff, well, hopefully you ran into something you didn't know, and if you knew everything that was played here, then hopefully you enjoyed the experience of somebody narrating it. But with all that being said, that's all for now. Just a quick little video. Well, not little, but, little one-off there. But thank you all for watching. Sorry this wasn't like my other videos where I have the whole intro and everything, but an outro, just won't have an outro, but I didn't really see a need to add that for this, but thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And until next time, my younglings and Padawans, remember, the Force will be with you, always. Bye, everyone.